Yo, hey, YouTube. I want to do a quick channel update. I've had a lot of really long talks about weight loss and athleticism. I'm going to keep talking about those topics, but I've more or less reached a goal zone for several months back to back now, and I keep fluctuating in the goal zone. Some weeks and some days are really bad, some weeks and some days are really good. Overall, I'm kind of stabilizing. Over the last year or so, I've learned a whole lot and I've put it to really good use. And what's happened is that my life has changed somewhat, and now I have new issues to deal with. I essentially traded in the old issues for the new ones. So it's a never-ending battle, but it's a battle I like to partake in, and I will probably be talking more about those things in the future, the new things that I'm dealing with. But things are better now. I would rather be dealing with the things that I'm dealing with now than the things that I was dealing with a year ago. Essentially, I have better problems to deal with. And I'm not going to talk fully about it right now because I want to keep this video short, but one of the things that I'll be talking at length about in the future, probably over multiple videos, is sustainability. Sustainability from several points of view. Sustainability from a planning point of view, from a daily lifestyle point of view, from an exercise point of view, from a diet point of view. Everything that I do needs to be sustainable, and the things that I used to do are not all necessarily sustainable. I think even counting calories itself might not necessarily be sustainable, and it was never the goal to count calories for the rest of my life with a food log. I'm still counting calories and I'm going to continue to count calories, but something that I've been mulling over in my mind for a while now is how do I transition to intuitive eating? There's a lot of influencers, YouTubers, fitness models. I don't know how you want to categorize this group of people, but there's a lot of people on the internet with followers, and there's also a lot of people without, that aren't on the internet, who started by calorie counting, and then after calorie counting for a few years, they stopped, and they were able to sustain and maintain whatever physique they wanted. And the truth is that they never abandoned what they learned for calorie counting. They just stopped actively keeping diaries, and things more or less worked. Now, am I at the point where I can stop calorie counting? Maybe. It's a little bit of a fear thing. I'm afraid to just stop. I think they say that one of the most common causes for eating disorders is fear. Fear of the unknown, or fear that you're going to fail, or I don't know. And I'm probably wrong here. I've been listening to a lot of people talk about a lot of things, so maybe I'm misquoting somebody. But I'm definitely afraid that if I stop calorie counting, then everything will spiral out of control. But I know that the fear is not truly based in fact, because let's say that I stop calorie counting. Well, I'm still going to be weighing myself every day, and I'll see the scale spike up. If I see the scale spike up, I'll do what I've been doing for the last several months. I'll take a look at how things have been going. I'll see if I can spot any mistakes I've been making. I'll see if I can find any areas for improvement. I'll make some changes. I'll say, hey, I'm going to implement some changes over the coming week or month or whatever, and then I do, and things get back in check. And that's how I've been able to maintain the 18 to 15% body fat over the last few months. Could it get lower? Yeah. Would I like it to get lower? Yeah. Is it sustainable? Maybe. But I know what I've been doing is sustainable. And it's in the channel, but it's been a combination of calorie counting, exercising at variable amounts, fasting here and there, sparingly, sometimes to play damage control, other times because I just feel like it. Essentially all the things that I've learned over the last year, just putting it to use appropriately. Um, Something about sustainability is the running. I love running. I want to run every day. And I'm trying to consistently hit 60 miles a week. But at the moment, hitting 60 miles a week is a struggle. Earlier this week, I had a day where I think I only ran 2 miles, and then one thing led to another, and I didn't have enough time. And yesterday, uh, was another one of those days. I went and I got up in the morning and I said, hey, I have 40 minutes until I need to clock in. And I'm just lying in bed. You know what? I'm going to go for a run. And so I did. I went for a 20-minute run, 25. I don't know. I got 2 miles in. And then I felt awesome about myself for the rest of the day because even though it was just a measly 2 mile run, I said, hey, you know what? Later today when I go run again, that's like another 2 miles on top of my daily total. And I was so proud of myself. And then actually what happened yesterday was that I didn't end up running the 6 miles at the end of work, which is what I wanted to do. And that would have put me at 8 miles for the day, which is still actually not as much as I'd like, because if I want to hit 60 miles a week, I need to be doing 10 miles 6 days a week. So, I mean, hitting 60 miles a week it's a struggle at the moment. I don't think I'm on track to hit 60 miles this week. I hit 60 miles last week, and I've hit 60 miles a few weeks in this last month, but I don't think I'm on track this week. But that's okay, you know. Sometimes you have highs, sometimes you have lows. I had to take a rest day. It'd been over a week since I'd taken a rest day, but my body needed it. So, you know, the upside of only running 2 miles yesterday is that essentially it was like a rest day for me again. So it gives my body time to recuperate, which will raise the chances that over the next coming 7 days, I can hit 60 miles a week. In order to help me hit 60 miles a week, there's 2 changes I'm going to make. And these are also going to be things that are going to help with sustainability, because I want to consistently be able to hit 60 miles a week. I want to live a life where I can do that. And at the moment, remember how I was talking about I'm trading in old problems for new ones? Well, since I've been trying to tap on my social circles so much, I feel like I'm spending more time with people socializing than I used to. Is it anything that I would brag about? No. I mean, I still think that my social skills are pretty mediocre, and I still wish I spent more time face to face socializing with friends and family. And I'm still going to work on increasing that, because I think that at the end of the day, the most important thing is probably the social gains, right? Social gains are probably more important than any other kind of gains. You know, are they more important than career gains? Maybe, maybe not. Are they more important than health and fitness and weight related gains? Yeah, I definitely think so. This could be a case of the grass is greener on the other side, but from my point of view, I feel like the most important thing that I could build up is my friends and connections with friends, connections with community, connections with clubs, families, social skills. I think those are the things that are the most valuable. And so I'm willing to sacrifice quite a lot in order to make gains in those areas. And thankfully, like I said, I feel like I've been spending more time with people than in a relatively recent amount of time. I don't know how to describe it, but the drawback is that my previous schedule and lifestyle is conflicting. I can't get off work at 5 and then go run for 2 hours and still hang out with people after work, because I don't want to stay up until midnight every night. I want to get up at the right time. I want to get at least 8 hours of sleep, if not more. My body needs it when I'm trying to run 60 miles a week to repair itself, energize myself for the next day. I need all the sleep I can get. I've been getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep on average for the last month or so, using my Apple Watch to keep track of my sleep. But I think I need more, and I think if I got more, it would help me recover and hit that 60 mile a week target. Like I said though, since I'm socializing more with people than I ever have, I've essentially traded in old problems for new ones. It's slowly starting to become harder to maintain the regimented diet and exercise plans that I've been doing for the last year, because I just don't have as much time to spend on diet and exercise. Now, now hear me out. I know I sound like a total excuse making, complaining, whining person, and that's it. End of story. I'm just making excuses. I'm whining. I'm complaining, and I can figure this out, just like I figured everything out. And so here's how I'm going to do it. So, disciplined athletes find the time to do their sport. People find the time to do whatever it is that matters to them, bar none, whether what's important to you is reading comics or watching TV shows or painting figurines or knitting or going to the bar every Thursday for karaoke night or going to church or studying for school, like whatever. If something is important to a person, they will find time to do it. And not only is running and hitting 60 miles a week important to me, but even if I didn't feel that it was important to me, and I do feel that it is, but even if I didn't, I want it to be important to me. So it's a dual agreement of my mind and my body, and I guess a triple agreement of my heart. Like everything about me, everything that I've worked for the last year has all combined to make me a 60-mile-a-week runner. And that is part of who I am. And some people say they don't want to define themselves by their athleticism. They don't want to define themselves by their cooking. There's competitive eaters that I'm doing research on, and some of them have said they don't want to define themselves by being a competitive eater. Fine, you do you. Define yourself however you wish. Be who you want to be. It's your life. I think that it's cool to define myself as an athlete and somebody who has taken fitness and health into their own hands and made it a priority. Maybe someday I'll put it on a back burner. I'm slowly starting to relax on the intensity, the amount of time that I'm dedicating to studying this stuff, because I feel like I've learned enough that I don't really need to study it so hard anymore. Like all the hobbies that I've done in my life, I'll have an intense phase that can last from days to years, and then it will pass. I'll move on to something else, but I'll remember the things that I learned, and sometimes I'll keep putting them to use. Others I'll let sleeping dogs lie, or whatever. But I want to keep being a 60-mile-a-week runner, and I want to keep maintaining the physique that I have, and I definitely want to improve it. I've been neglecting my resistance training, and I'm spending more time than ever socializing and doing other things, hobby-related, dating, whatever, who knows. And so I need to find the time for the things that I care about, and whether I wanted to care about them or not. I'm lucky that I want to care about it and I actually care about it. It's rare that you have both. Mike from Periodic Renaissance Periodization. Dr. Mike from Periodic Renaissance, whatever, I can't say that word. My brain too small. He has a 30 to 40 minute lecture on the 5 keystones of like habit building and discipline, and I can't remember them off the top of my head, but it's one of the most important talks I've ever listened to, bar none. And he's a bodybuilder. He's my height, but he was up to 250 pounds of muscle at one point. Just an absolute monster of a man, a very intelligent guy, and he talks for nearly 40 minutes about motivation and whatnot. And like I said, I can't remember all the things, but the point I want to make is that sometimes people do things that they're not motivated to do, but they're dedicated, or they have discipline, or they don't have discipline and they're not dedicated, but they have motivation, and motivation wanes, but you replace motivation with discipline. The point I'm trying to make is that I want to be a 60-mile-a-week runner. I am a 60-mile-a-week runner. My heart says I want to be a 60-mile-a-week runner. My mind, everything about me says that I want to be a 60-mile-a-week runner. So I essentially have everything in my yard house working for me. There's nothing fighting against me, so I'm gonna make it happen. And even if something was fighting against me, I would fight. I would fight those feelings, and I would make it work. But luckily, this is one of the rare opportunities where pretty much nothing about me says no. Everything about me says find a way and figure it out. And I'm gonna do it. And it's gotta be sustainable, especially as I strengthen the social connections and social circles that I'm participating in and building up. And so here's how I'm going to do it. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to hurt a lot, actually. But I'm going to start disciplining myself to run in the morning before work. I know, groundbreaking. How could anyone ever come up with such a crazy concept? Listen, when you're not disciplined, it's possibly, potentially, maybe a little hard to become disciplined, but I'm going to start. I want to say I'm going to try, but one of the things I've learned over the years is you can trick yourself into doing what you want by lying to yourself with your own language. And so I'm not going to say that I'm going to try to get up in the morning and run. I am going to get up in the morning and run. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to attempt. I am going to get up in the morning and run. See, I'm lying to myself with reinforcing language, but I lie to myself enough and it works. So this is something you can do as well. Look it up. I'm not going to explain it, but I'm not just making this up. The language that you use does affect the way that you think about anything. And if you learn how to harness this effect, it can make a small but noticeable difference in your life. And that's something that I've been doing over the last few years, is looking for all sorts of things that make tiny, small, noticeable effects. And they pile up when you combine them all. By themselves, they don't do much. And a naysayer or someone dragging their heels would say, oh, what's the point? I'm never going to change. But if you have the right attitude and you put together enough positive habits, then eventually you can do whatever it is that you want to do and be whoever it is that you want to be. I don't know. So on the topic of sustainability, I'm going to discipline myself to run in the morning so that no matter how the rest of my day goes, at least I have my fitness goal down and I'll be getting closer to my 60-mile-a-week goal. I won't probably be able to afford to run 2 hours every morning, which would be nice if I could. And honestly speaking, yes, of course I could. Anyone can get up 3 hours before work, run 2 hours, shower off, change, get ready for work. Like anyone can do that. Construction workers get up at 4 a.m. My buddy works in construction. He gets up at 4 a.m. I'm being lazy here. Look, I have to start small. I'm just going to get up enough before work that I can run for an hour. It's only going to let me get 6 miles in at the pace that I go. It's not going to get me to my 60 miles a week mark. But if I run doubles, 6 miles in the morning and then 6 miles at night, that's 12 miles. Do that 5 days a week, that's 60 miles. That gives me 2 days for resting or screwing up on a day. So if I do doubles, I'm not saying I'm going to do doubles every day, but maybe some days I'll get up a little earlier and run 10 miles. Maybe some days I won't run in the morning, but I'll run at night. But what I've found over the last few months is that starting the day off on the right foot often snowballs into a day completed on all the right feet. So, for example, I've learned to always start my day with a very healthy giant salad. It keeps me full for a long time. It gets me towards my fiber requirements. It fills in all my vitamin and mineral requirements. It's really nutritious and not full of macros that I don't need. I can dress it up for high protein, whatever. Starting the day with a salad is a habit that I've been working on. I recently came up with a salad dressing I love that I'll probably make a YouTube video about, where I just mix a whole bunch of random stuff into my garbage $10 food processor and put some Greek yogurt in there. And is it the best dressing in the world? Is it the tastiest dressing in the world? No. But does it take a few minutes to make, and it's super easy and it's super healthy and has almost 20 grams of protein? Yes. So, you do what you can and you improve where you can, which is everywhere, really. And over time, things just get better. And it's been 8 to 10 months since I started this whole journey of changing myself and getting healthier and learning about weight and lifestyle, all that stuff. And nothing happened overnight. It's taken so long, and I've learned so many things. And it wasn't just one magic bullet that made my life change. It was the collected efforts of all the things that I've learned and done. But right now, for the upcoming month, and who knows how long it's going to take, the thing that I'm setting my mind to, that I'm working on, that I'm going to be talking about, and I'm going to be ordering more equipment to come in the mail. I want to improve my video setup. I'm going to get a better microphone. I'm possibly going to get a lightweight tripod. I'm thinking about getting a GoPro. I want to start recording myself while I'm running. And you would think there would be a lot of information on the internet about recording oneself while you're running. You would think, because everything's on the internet. But no, I can't find any info. So maybe I found a niche. I know I can talk endlessly, and I know when I'm running, I'm bored out of my gourd. And I can just talk for days while I'm running because I do heart rate 1 and 2 zone training. So I can just talk at a conversational rate while I'm running about 6 miles an hour. You know, it would be awesome if I could record a podcast while I'm running. The sound quality won't be perfect, but there's software that can cut the background noise out and focus on the noise. So these are skills that I know about, maybe because I'm a software engineer. You don't have to be a software engineer to know this stuff. You just need to install Audacity or Final Cut Pro or whatever and use the sound check tools. But the point is I'm gonna make the change of running in the mornings, going to bed more consistently so I can get up on time and run in the mornings so I can get towards that 60-mile-a-week goal that I'm struggling to consistently hit. I've hit it multiple times now, but it's hard for me to hit it consistently. And the thing that needs to change are my habits. So that's a habit that I'm going to start building and working on. And besides that, I have always kind of enjoyed putting out this low quality content for the internet. And so I'm going to order some more equipment so I can upgrade the quality a little bit. And fingers crossed, I couldn't find any information on the internet about how to do this, but I'm just gonna wing it. Luckily, I'm not poor, so if I order like a $30 microphone and it doesn't work out, then hey, it's not the end of the world. Versus back when I used to work part-time, that would have been 3 hours of work just to afford a little microphone. I mean, talk about a sunk investment, a sunk cost. So those are some changes that you can be looking forward to, is hearing about how those habits go, and possibly seeing the videos either increase in quantity or quality. Maybe me making a podcast. It's whatever. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a great week.